Hey everybody, Angela Carboni here, coming at you live. It is about 20 to 12 on Tuesday. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. I wanted to jump on and talk to you guys because since I've been at the top of the leaderboard, I've had a lot of people in the community that I just had to end a phone call. Since I've been at the top of the leaderboard of the community, I've been having a lot of people ask me for a lot of help individually. And what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start doing something called Ask Angela Anything. And it's going to happen on Thursday evenings between 8 and 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Hi, Sherry. So what I've been getting a lot of questions about is how am I getting so many people into the business so fast, right? So what I am doing is not that difficult, you guys. But what I'm doing is I'm just pre-qualifying people before I ever get on the phone with them. And the way you do that is, like I tell you guys all the time, is ask questions. Okay. So when somebody messages me asking for more information, I say, okay, great. Thank you for your comment on my video, or thank you for your comment on my post, or whatever they've commented on for you. Or maybe they just messaged you directly. So I say, thank you for your message. Okay. And then I say, I need to ask you a few questions so that I can know best how to help you achieve your goals. So can you tell me what you do for a living? And do you have a family that you support? And what are your specific challenges that you're facing on a daily basis that being able to work from home online would help you with? And who besides yourself is going to benefit from your online success? So once they've answered those questions for me, now I know quite a bit about them. I know what they do for a living, so if they're employed or not, right? Sorry if I don't say hi to everybody, but I don't want to take up too much time here. And I have more calls to make in half an hour. So with those questions, you've just found out what they do for a living. You know, if they have a wife or a spouse with kids and how many kids. You found out what their challenges are, like, you know, we're paycheck to paycheck, or, you know, where we can't take vacations, or it's just not enough money, or I hate my job. So now you have all those answers, right? So the next thing I say is, okay, thank you for telling me about yourself. I really appreciate it. And I really do appreciate it, because there's a million things that people could be doing online other than answering your questions, right? They're taking the time to answer your questions. So appreciate that and really appreciate it. Value it, you know, because there's going to be a lot of people who you ask those questions to who aren't going to answer you at all. So the people who do answer you, appreciate that they answered you. So I say, thank you for answering my questions and telling me about yourself. I appreciate it. Are you able to invest $99 into your business? Okay. Now I say it like that because that's exactly what it is. It's an investment into their business or into themselves, right? Now, if they say no, then I'll say, okay, well, this business does require a $99 investment. Then I might, you know, say, are you really sure you can't find $99? Like, do you go for a coffee every morning? Because there's $99 right there, you know, within a week or two, right? Do you have satellite TV? Oh, well, there's $100 right there. That is really, what's it doing for you? It's not making you any money, right? So I will give them some ideas on how to make that $99. If they say, yes, I do have $99, I say, okay, great. How many hours per week could you spend working on your business with your current family and work obligations? So if they're like, oh, I don't have any time. I have no time to do this. Well, then that's not going to work, right? Time has to be put in, right? So if they come back and they say, oh, I could probably do about 5 to 20 hours a week, like whatever the answer is, it's okay. It's just, you know, if they feel right now with their current, you know, work and home and family that they could only really schedule in, you know, 5 to 20 hours a week, that's great. If they say 1 hour a day, that's great too. Because for some people, that 1 hour a day is the hour they would have spent watching TV or screwing around and wasting time, right? So, but what this question does is it gets them thinking. It gets them thinking like, okay, how many hours could I invest into this? What am I willing to do? Right? And then my final question is, all right, are you ready? How do I word it? I say, are you truly ready to do absolutely whatever it takes to change your life and reach your goals? Right? Because, and you know what, guys, I lose some people at that question because these questions get them thinking. So that question gets them thinking, geez, am I really ready to do whatever it takes? And, you know, do I really want to step into this right now? You know, so when I have people come back to me going, absolutely, Angela, that's why I connected with you, you know, like, then I'm like, great. I work with a marketing educational system that teaches you the skills you need to be able to work from anywhere in the world online. Not only that, the marketing system also automates 90% of your online business for you. So you take care of 10% and the system takes care of the rest. How does that sound to you? Okay. And then they come back and they're like, oh my God, that sounds great. Or that sounds awesome. Or that sounds nice. And then I'll say, okay, whatever words they said, if they come back to me and they say, oh, that sounds awesome. I'll say, what sounds awesome about it to you? Okay. And then they'll come back with, well, the fact that, you know, you guys are going to teach me everything and you're going to take care of 90% for me. You know, that's awesome, right? So they're selling themselves, guys. They're selling themselves and they're closing the deal for themselves, right? By answering these questions. So when they say, oh yeah, that's awesome, you know, I want in, right? Kind of thing, or whatever they say. I'm like, fantastic. The next step is for us to book a phone call together. I have 3 p.m., you know, tonight or this afternoon, or I have 5 p.m. tomorrow. Which one works for you? You know, I'll see if I can fit you in. Okay. And then book the call. Now, by doing all of this, you guys, by the time you get on the phone, you are not going to get, oh, I don't have $99 because they just told you that they have $99. You're not going to get, oh, I don't have any time because they just told you that they have time. Okay. Now, one other objection that we often get that I forgot to mention is if I'm talking to somebody and they say to me, oh yeah, my family is, Marie, is morning or afternoon better for you? I'm not sure what you're asking me for, Marie. If I say, do you have a family? And they say, oh yes, I have, you know, I'm just saying, I'm talking to a man, let's say. So he says, I have a wife and 3 kids. And I'll say, okay, would you be working this business with your wife or on your own? Right? And if he says, I'll be working it with my wife, I'll say, okay, great. Then the best thing for us to do is book a phone call when you both have time to talk to me. Like when you guys can be on speakerphone at home and I'm on the other end. Because what ends up happening is if you tell the husband, let's say, and the wife doesn't know anything about it, the husband is going to go to the wife and say, oh my God, I just talked to this girl and she's got this program and this and that. And what they do is like, they kind of puke it out to their spouse. I've talked about this on Go Lives before. So the spouse doesn't have the information that the person who was on the phone with you has, right? So it's better if you just say, well, you know what? If you're going to be doing this with your wife or your husband, then the best thing for us to do is to book a phone call when you're both available. When would that be? You know? And if he's like, well, I'm at work I work tonight and my wife, I'm off tomorrow night and so is my wife. Can we book it for tomorrow night? Great. Then you get them both on the phone because that way it's not one spouse trying to sell the other spouse. You're telling both parties everything they need to know. And then, the spouse can ask you questions as well. So it's not just one person asking you questions, it's both of them. So if either of them have like different questions from each other, you can answer them now, right? So pre-qualifying people is something that I think you guys should be doing if you're not doing it now, because this is going to save you from booking phone calls with people who are not qualified to be in the business, right? The qualifications for this business are you have to have $99, you have to have some time to work on your business, and you have to be ready to change your life and do whatever it takes. That's, to me, the 3 qualifying factors of this business. So, Marie, great content here. This is the type of training education that some people never learn. This is also the type of knowledge that people pay thousands of dollars for. Yes, it's true. You know, I could probably easily sell a course of pre-qualifying people for thousands of dollars, but you know, this is what we do in our community. We share what's working, right? This is all, if you kind of look at the psychology of a sale, this is kind of how the psychology of a sale goes, right? Because the more you can sell somebody else the more they can sell themselves, the less you have to sell, right? So, what does Marie say? Husband and wife is so important to have them on the same page. Otherwise, you have an objection of, oh, I need to talk to my wife or husband. This is spot on here. Exactly. So that's the objection that you're trying to avoid is, oh, I need to talk to my husband or my wife, right? I won't even talk to you if you say, no, I'm going to do this business by myself, right? Like if you're the man I'm talking to and you say, no, I'm not, my wife's busy. I'm going to take this on by myself. I'm like, okay, are you able to invest $99 without speaking to your wife about it? Or do you guys like decide every single decision on where money is spent, because if she needs to okay it, then she still needs to be on the phone, right? So by the time I get to the phone, guys, they're sold on them. They're sold on it already. They may have a couple of questions for me about like what they'd actually might be doing with their time each day, but I don't get these kinds of objections anymore because I pre-qualify people, you know? And that's what's been working for me so well the last few weeks, and why I'm achieving the levels I am and why I'm on the leaderboard, because pre-qualifying is huge. So if you guys have any questions for me, put them in the messages here. I will try to answer anything else you guys have. But yeah, I mean, it can really just be that simple. The conversation can flow that easily, okay? And then, you know, because again, we always talk about that you're not here to sell them on changing their lives. They need to make that decision already, right? And we know that. But we also know what it takes to get started in this business. And it takes $99 and some time and the willingness to learn and be coachable and try something new and be open-minded. So every question I asked gives me the answers to those 3 qualifications. So, Justin, going to watch it over to write down the pre-qualified questions. Awesome. Do that, you know. And, you know, the way I say them, like I was talking to another person from the community yesterday, the way I say them is I say them that way because that's how I talk. So if, you know, if my words that I just used in this video to you, if they don't sound like words that come out of your mouth, then, you know, find a way with your own language and how you normally talk to ask these questions, you know. Marie, pre-qualifying is essential. Do it up front. Time is money. We can't spend time on people who have no money. Exactly. I mean, that kind of sums it up perfectly. But I'm not sure if the people in this community are doing pre-qualifying or not, and if you are, how it's working for you. Because pre-qualifying has always worked very well for me ever since I started in sales when I was 17 years old. So it just, you know, because if somebody has just said to you on Messenger that they can afford $99, then you get them on the phone, they're like, well, geez, I don't know, $99, right? And I'm like, well, you just told me a couple of hours ago you had the $99. So how can you come back? Like, what has changed in the last 2 hours or 3 hours or a day or whatever has happened, like between when you had your Messenger conversation and your phone call? And try to keep that, you know, as tight as you can. At the very latest, try to make that phone call for the next day or something, you know, if you're busy or if, you know, if it's getting late or whatever, try to book that phone call in for the next day. Don't let it wait like a week down the road. Try to get on your phone calls pretty quickly if you can. And so, like, that's what I say, you know, like if I get on the phone and they're like, yeah, I'm really not sure if I can actually afford that $99. I'm like, well, you just told me a couple of hours ago you could. What has changed between now and then that you can't afford the $99? Right? Like, I just asked you that. So how can you come back and try to, like, then people can't go back on their words, guys, because they're going to know they told you they had $99. So when you say, how soon do you want to get started? And they say, oh, well, I got to wait till I get paid for my $99. I'll be like, well, you just told me you had $99 ready to go. So why do you have to wait for payday now? You know? And I'm not trying to be a bitch, guys, but I'm being clear that, you know, I already asked you these things and now you're going back on your word. Is that the kind of person you are? Because if it is, then I don't even want to work with you. You know, I asked you a few simple questions. You gave me the answers. Now I took the time to get on the phone with you, which is my time is valuable. I don't have to get on the phone with you. This is, you know, what I choose to do. This is how I spend my time. This is my choice. And, you know, like, the objections they just don't happen anymore, because very rarely will I have somebody who I've pre-qualified on Messenger come back to me on the phone and change their mind and say, oh, well, yeah, no, I don't think I have that $99. Or actually, you know, I told you I didn't have to talk to my wife, but I think I do now, right? I'll be like, well, why are you going back on what you just said? Like, you told me you didn't have to talk to your wife. You told me you had the $99. Like, I call bullshit kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, don't say it like me. Like, say it like you would, right? But, I mean, that's kind of what I'm like on the phone. Like, I'm pretty clear about, you know, getting on the phone, finding out what their challenges are, you know, dig deep into that, tell them what we do, tell them how to get started. Either pull up the website myself and put their credit card in over the phone, or they go directly to the link and sign up. So, Marie, most people aren't going to get on the phone unless they are serious. You are not being rude, Angela. This is smart business. Way to go. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm not trying to be rude, and I'm not trying to be a bitch or anything. I'm trying to say, look, this is what it requires to get started in this business. Fabiola, it amazes me how many people this world are struggling and not happy, but yet they can be open-minded to explore new ventures. Excuse after excuse. But that's, you guys, the excuses are, like, it's not their fault, okay? It's not their fault that they're full of excuses. This world and the way that we are taught to go about our lives and go to work and, go to school and go to work and work for 40 hours a week for 40 years for somebody else and then die broke and unhappy and having never done anything. This is what we're taught are the keys to life, are the keys to success, are the ways to live your life. Like this paycheck to paycheck and working for the man kind of thinking has been ingrained in all of us, for years. So it's not that they're trying to come up with excuses. It's that they don't know any other way but the way they've been taught, right? And we have all been taught those same things. Go to school, get a good job, work for somebody else, die broke. That's kind of how life goes for most people. And I'm sorry to say it is, but it is, right? Justin, really hard to change the mindset when we are already pre-programmed. That's exactly what it is, right? Like, and when I get to this is the too good to be true objection, I say exactly that. I said, this sounds too good to be true to you because this is outside of the norm. We are taught to go to school, get a job, work for 40 years for somebody else, and die broke, unhappy, and full of regret. And anything outside of that thinking is taboo. That's what it is. And that's when people think it's got to be a scam. It's got to be too good to be true. Nobody could possibly be doing this. This has got to be wrong, like a lie, because they can't vision it for themselves, right? And the one thing that you cannot do is change somebody's mindset. You can't do that at all. And you can try and ram it down their throat, but it's not going to work, okay? They're going to come back with whatever excuses they want to come back with for you. But what I'm saying about pre-qualifying is when you pre-qualify people, you kind of get rid of the excuses, that I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the will, You've already asked those questions. So if you get somebody on the phone and they do a complete 180 on you, then just say, okay, well, then take care. Bye-bye, right? And it's done. Jamie, it's like pre-qualifying someone for a job before you invite them for an interview. Exactly, right? Like, I think we've talked about this in the community before, where somebody needs to earn a phone call with you, right? Like, this is your time that you're spending. So if they can't answer your questions, if I have people they'll say to me, oh, can you just skip the telethon and just tell me what this is all about? And I'm like, no, I can't. I need you to answer my questions. You don't want to answer them? Take care. Bye-bye. And I'm done with it. I don't have an emotional connection to every single lead. If they want to start with me, they will answer my questions. If they want to change their lives, they will answer my questions. If this is all a big headache for them, then they're not good for this business anyway. And I don't want them on my team. I don't want to drag them through this process. Marie, you can help them with their excuses by educating them. You can help. That's very true. But by the time, some people can't be helped. There we go. Because some people their minds are never going to change. They believe in the 9-to-5 grind. They believe that's the only way to get through life. And anything outside of that is a scam or taboo or too good to be true. And they're never going to take action. It's just not going to happen. So I hope that I've given you guys some value. I have to go and get on the phone here. I hope I've given you guys some value today. I hope you can take pre-qualifying into your business, and that'll start giving you more quality phone calls. Like by the time you get on the phone with somebody, they're excited to hear from you. They would never miss the call. Like I had, I think it was 16 calls booked on Sunday, and only 2 of them didn't show for the call. I spoke to 14 other people. So you know what I mean? Like, by the time I call, they're like, oh my God, hi Angela, I was waiting for your call. Like they're excited, they're ready to go. They're they're ready to, like, I mean, they're just excited and they're ready and they're rocking and they're like, yeah, I was waiting for your call right here. I'm here with my wife. This is my wife, so-and-so, you know, and whatever. So, I hope that helps. I hope you guys start pre-qualifying your leads before you get them on the phone. It'll save you some time. It'll save you some headache. Okay. And don't be emotionally attached to each lead. If they continue answering your questions and they get started and they're on your team, fantastic. If they don't, they don't. Justin, what are some of the things you would go over in the phone call? Okay, so in the phone call, I dig deeper into what their challenges are. You know, if they said to me, well, I've got some debt I want to pay for. Fabio, you're very welcome. You guys, I always want to give you value, just like everybody else in this community. So I hope I am giving you some value. Zoom and Skype are good too. Skype for international. Yes. Actually, I actually had somebody mention this before. They were saying, I don't do leads, like I don't run ads outside of my country because I don't have a good long distance plan. Well, with Facebook Messenger calling and Skype and Zoom and WhatsApp and all these different technologies that you can use to connect with people, don't limit yourself to just your country, right? If you think that the phone call won't work, right? Like I'm in Canada. I don't limit myself to just Canada. I advertise in the US and other places too, because I can do phone calls on Messenger or whatever like this. So try not to forget that there's technology out there for you to connect with people. There's always a way to connect with somebody in this world. Like now, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be on an actual telephone. It can be through Messenger. It can be on Zoom. It can be on Skype, whatever. Anthony, the ones that are excited are the ones to work with. Avoid the skeptical ones and move on. Absolutely. Absolutely. The ones who are excited and want to change their lives and get rocking and rolling, that's exactly who you want to work with. That's exactly who you want on your team. And that's exactly who you want to help build their team, because they are ready to go. You know, they have decided that the life they're living is not the one they want anymore, and they're going to make changes. Justin, I have a good plan, so even better. I'm not sure what you're saying, Justin. Sorry about that. I can't actually get into what I say on the phone right now, guys, because I do need to go make some calls, but I really just dig a little bit deeper on their goals. You know, if they told me on Messenger, oh, I've got debt, I'll say, well, how much debt, you know, do you have to pay off? And they're like, oh, about 40,000. I'm like, okay, is that credit card debt? Is that line of credit? You paying through the ass on interest on this, you know? So we got to get this paid off right away is what you're telling me, right? Okay, well, great. The system I work with is XYZ, and then I go into the call, okay? On my new Ask Angela Anything on Thursday nights that I will do every Thursday night that I can, between 8 and 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I'm saying between 8 and 9 because I have a mastermind at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and sometimes it goes a little past 8 or 8:15. So that's why I'm saying between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m. I will get on. As soon as I'm done the other mastermind, I will get on Go Live and answer any questions you guys have. So I hope this gave you some value. I hope you can go use pre-qualifying in your business. I love and appreciate all of you. Ciao for now.